So I do apologize for that. So let's get started. Today's session will be about how to use EdPulzzle for differentiation with English language learners. And we will be covering all the features that may be useful in terms of language teachers, okay? What I will be telling you today about EdPulzzle is that EdPulzzle is a tool that will allow you to take any video. It could be a video that either comes from YouTube, your own videos that you have recorded yourselves, or videos that may come from the EdPulzzle community of teachers. And you can edit those videos, you can embed questions within those videos, and then you can assign those videos to your students. Your students will be able to watch the videos, answer the questions, and then submit the answers. And then as teachers, what we will get is that we will get all the data that will allow us to understand what they have understood, what they have watched, the questions that they may have, etc. Okay, so taking video, editing the video, embedding questions, and assigning it to the students. Okay, so why EdPulzzle for Tesol teachers? We have to bear in mind that whenever we teach languages, we have to always remember the learning objective that we want to transmit or we want to work on. And then we have to be flexible as any kind of teacher. We have to be flexible in terms of the content that we provide to the different students, the different approaches or presentations, how we provide that content, what type of content we provide to them. If we use the same process or every student will go through the same process in order to learn the language, and if we can adapt anything to help the students out. So that means that when we use EdPulzzle, it allows us to give the students some content that they can use and they can work on at their own pace and their own responsibility as well, which is really useful because it can be worked online synchronously, asynchronously. It can be worked in the classroom, outside the classroom, etc. So that gives us so much flexibility in terms of how we provide the access to the content to the students. Also, the students will be able to learn at their own pace. They will be able to rewind the videos, watch the videos as many times as they need, etc. Also, the students will be able to, we as teachers will have time to support the students. So because we will have the option of providing that content to the students will be able to work at their own pace, and we will be able to support those in need. And we will be able to use the data that we get as teachers to analyze everybody's needs. And we will be able to adapt to those needs and support those students that may need extra help. We will also be able to to organize a library of video content that will be available for the students to use at any time and anywhere. And the students will be able to watch the videos, respond to the questions, and be able to understand, to see if they have understood what they were supposed to be understanding, if they have learned what they were supposed to be learning, etc. Okay. As teachers, we can also provide the video for the students so that they can interact with the video. So it's not just we provide the content and they do nothing about it. They can interact with the content and they can work on it. From the teacher's perspective as well, something that is very useful is that we can use the EdPulzzle videos to change the model of the classroom. So we could either provide the content before we go to classroom, so the students work on their own as a flipped classroom, and the content is provided outside of it, so they can work on it on their own. And then when we go to the classroom, we do more interactive activities, project-based activities, something that would allow us to really support those in need. Or we could also use the station rotation model that would entail using like a flip model, but inside the classroom. So having different groups of students working on different contents, different abilities, different things according to their needs. We could also use the video to project it in the classroom, and then the students would be working on their own and they would only see the questions, so that we can rewind the video, stop the video, and we can get all the data analysis that will allow us to see if they are understanding in the classroom. It is amazing as well for project-based learning that it allows the students to create their own content, and we will see how to do that. And then for everything that has to do with how to help those students that may not necessarily use text, for example, they could use images, they could use their own voices in order to respond to the questions as well. So we can support those students that not necessarily use text or written text to express themselves correctly, so that we can allow them to express them differently. And all the data analysis, all the data that we gather as teachers will allow us to support those that are in need as well. So what we will be looking at today is how to use EdPulzzle. So the first thing that we will need to do is go to edpuzzle.com and you will be able to access the platform. Okay, so whenever you click on edpuzzle.com, you click on login, and then when you once you've clicked on login, what you will be doing is that you will say that you are a teacher. Okay, and then my advice would be to always use the single sign-on. Okay, so if you're working with a Google account, I would advise you to click on sign in with Google. If you're using a Microsoft account, sign in with Microsoft. Okay, so the safest way to enter would be to use the single sign-on. Okay, you select the account and you are good to go. So we mentioned that we have three things. We have content, we have editing options to embed questions, and we have assigning options. Okay, so we are going to cover those three things, and I will stop and reflect on how those things will allow us to use EdPulzzle for the differentiation with English language learners. Okay. So in terms of content, what do we have? We have the section that is called Discover. We have community, my network or my school, and YouTube. Okay. The community means that this content has been created and edited by other teachers throughout the world. Okay, so we have teachers from every country that have taken videos, that have embedded questions, and those videos are part of the community. Okay, so those videos have been shared publicly, and that means that we can reuse those videos. Then we will have my network or my school. That means that we can reuse the videos that have been created and edited by teachers throughout the school. Okay, so within the same school, we will be able to share content. So we are working for the same school. If we have a group of teachers working together, it is useful to start working on building up a library of video content so that we can all share that video content and we can help each other. Okay. And then we will have YouTube. That means that we can take any video from YouTube. As you can see on the left-hand side, there is also EdPulzzle Originals. Okay, EdPulzzle Originals are those videos that have been designed by our curriculum experts that are teachers as well. And you will see that you have different levels, different subjects, etc. Okay, those are only a part of the pro version. Okay, but you will be able to try and test it at the end of this session. So I would recommend taking a look at the EdPulzzle Originals because you have amazing videos and amazing content. Okay. So as you can see, whenever we have chosen the videos or the content that we want to work with, we can filter by subject, grade level, country, and source. Within the network or the school, we can also find the content created by our colleagues, and it can be also filtered. And we also have YouTube videos. Okay. So first of all, what you could be doing is that you could be pasting a video in here, or you can use, or you can either paste the URL up here, the YouTube URL up here, or you can just enter the word. Okay, so for example, if I were to work with my students, I would be working with Cervantes, for example, and I would be looking for Cervantes. So that allows us to do a search, and I could find a video that would be within YouTube, and I could select that video. Okay, so we can either go to YouTube, or we can just use the search word, or we can paste the URL up here. Whenever you've done that, you will be able to select a video. In this case, we're working with a YouTube video. And as you can see, the first thing that we can do is that we can edit the video. Okay, so once we have selected the video, we have either copied the URL, search within the search tool, we can start editing the video. The first thing that we can do is that we can cut the video. Whenever you work with videos in the classroom, as you already know, it is very useful to be able to work with videos that are up to 6 minutes. My advice would be to always use shorter videos, 3-minute long videos, etc., because it works better, the concentration level is good, and you will be able to work within the classroom or outside the classroom. Okay, so I wouldn't use longer than 6-minute video if I were you. So whenever you have your videos, you can make them shorter. So you can cut them on the left, for example. Okay, you can do the like this, and then we can cut them like this or trim them like this. We can place ourselves at any point within the video. We can click in here and add a cut, and you can place yourselves in another part of the video and add another cut. And then once you've done that, you can just pull left and delete. Okay, so this is very useful because you can take the entire video, you can cut on the left, you can cut on the right, and you can take any part of the video inside the video, within the video, and you can trim it or cut it as well. Okay, so you can take any video, even if it's a really long video, and you can make shorter videos. So for example, I was teaching Spanish as a foreign language for a long time, and what I did is that I had a soap opera for my students. I took a soap opera, and every week we took a part of a chapter of the soap opera. And that worked really well because you have a narrative. The students are following a story, they know the characters, and you can work on the vocabulary, you can work on the expressions, you can work on the grammar, you can work on the culture, you can work on so many things with the narrative. So you already have the story, you can have the students follow the story, follow the characters, and sometimes they don't realize they are learning, they are just following the story, and they are so into the story that they end up forgetting about the fact that they are learning grammar, vocabulary, etc. Okay, so this is very useful in terms of being able to cut and trim videos, is that you can take a longer video or a film or something like that, and you can trim it in shorter videos. Okay, and every week do a little bit of a video. Once you've done that, you can click on voiceover. The voiceover is very useful for language teachers. This means that whenever you take a video that doesn't come from YouTube, okay, so the video that you have either uploaded or is EdPulzzle hosted, okay, has been uploaded to EdPulzzle by somebody else, this means that this video you can change the voiceover. This means that you can change the entire sound of the video. And for language teachers, this is amazing because you can make a silent video and work on what is happening in this story, what do you think is going to happen. So if they have a silent video, they just watch the video and they make hypotheses about what could be happening. You can also change the language of the entire video. Okay, so for example, if you take a video that is in a different language or has been initially created in a different language, you can double it. You can change the voiceover and change the entire sound of the video. So voiceover is very useful, but you have to bear in mind that it doesn't work with YouTube videos. It only works with videos that have been hosted by EdPulzzle. Okay. And then when you click on videos, you have 3 options. Or on questions, you have 3 options. You have multiple choice questions, open-ended questions, and notes. The multiple choice questions are the questions that will allow you to check for comprehension, check for vocabulary, check for expressions, and very quick questions that you will be able to enter the question. For example, okay, you have to bear in mind that you can edit the text, okay? You can enter math expressions, functions, you can enter pictures, okay? So you can insert pictures or images that may come from the internet, from your own computers, or you can insert links. This is very useful. You will see this in a minute. And then you have the option of giving several answers, okay? So who is this person? Let's say a writer, let's say an actor, add as many answers as you want, and let's say a singer. Okay. So once you have entered 3 options in terms of answers, you have to select the one that is correct. Okay, you would have to just click on the one that is correct, and then you can give feedback. Okay, so as you can see, if you click in here, you can give feedback. If I click in here, I would say, good job, well done. If I click in here, I would say, try again, etc. Okay, and then you would click in here and here. Okay, so as you have seen, we have entered the question, we have edited the text, we have entered as many answers as we want, we have selected the one that is correct, we have given feedback. And that's it. Something that is very useful from the Tesol perspective. You can enter pictures, okay? So the students wouldn't have to use text in order to answer the question. So for example, if you're working with vocabulary, what is it that you think that the video means by this expression? And you can enter 3 pictures so that the students wouldn't have to write text or read text. They would only have to select one of the pictures. So you are giving them the option of using images in order to understand an idea, a concept, a vocabulary, etc. From the grammar perspective, you can also use bold option to emphasize something that you want them to work on. And then you can use the links. The links are very useful in the sense that you can redirect them to a different page. Okay, so you can send them to a different website. You can send them to a link that will allow them to use an online dictionary. For example, make sure that you have understood, remember the vocabulary that we have learned in class, and you can enter the link that will redirect them to an online dictionary, an online website, etc. Okay, so this is very useful, being able to embed links within the questions and the answers. Okay. Whenever you work with multiple choice questions, my advice would be to always use at least 3 answers. Okay, so just make sure that you have 3 answers, and those 3 answers, you will see why 3 and not 2. Okay. Okay. So we will click on save. And then we already have our question in here, and we can continue. Okay, the next will be an open-ended question. Whenever you work with open-ended question, it will allow you to work with comprehension activities, so activities that will allow them to express themselves. They may reflect on something, they may explain something, an idea, if they agree with something and explain why, if they have understood and explain why, what they have understood, and then they can use it for something else, or how can they relate what they have understood from the video and then from what they have done in the classroom, etc. Okay, so those will be activities that will allow them to express themselves lengthy and like in a written paragraph, or you will be able to allow them to use audio responses. Okay, so this is really useful because it will allow the students not only to express themselves using a text or written text, but it will also allow them to record themselves speaking. As you already know, when you're working with language students, some of them may be really good at expressing themselves on a text, and some of them maybe use it better when they express them orally, etc. So that is something that you can bear in mind in order to be more flexible if your goal obviously is not for them to express themselves using text, obviously, but it will allow them to express them differently. So again, whenever you work with an open-ended question, you will also be able to edit the text, embed images, links, etc. Okay, you can also give feedback, but since this is an open-ended question and is not auto-gradable like the multiple choice ones, this means that whenever you add the feedback, it will have to be an open feedback, like good effort, well done, good job, and things like that. But obviously, as teachers, we will have to grade it afterwards. Okay. And then you can click on save. And then finally, when you continue, what we can do is we can add notes. Okay, so we have seen multiple choice questions that can be used for really check comprehension quizzes, previous knowledge assessment, exit ticket activities, very quick things and short things. And it could be done for vocabulary as well with pictures, open-ended questions that will allow them to express themselves using text or audio, reflection, how do I learn, have I understood everything, etc. And then finally, the notes. The notes will allow you as teachers to create a pause within the video. So the video will stop and it will allow you as a teacher to also record your own voices, okay? So whenever you're working with YouTube videos or somebody else's videos, this is very useful because sometimes the students are listening to something and they don't relate to it that much because it's not their own teacher. But if you record your own voice, they can see, okay, this is my teacher telling me blah, 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 or this is my teacher reminding me that we have learned this in class or we have already worked on this in class. The notes can be used for you to relate to the content worked in the classroom. For example, remember what we worked on in the classroom, blah, we worked on this content or these concepts. This is related to what you're going to see in the video. It can be done, it can be used also for instructions. If you want to give instructions to the students, you can either use text or you can record your own voices using the microphone to give instructions to the students. And the students will be able to pause the video, listen to you or read you, and then continue, okay? Something that is very useful as well is that whenever you use the notes, you can place the notes at the same point throughout the video where you had a multiple choice question or an open-ended question. Why is this useful? This is useful because whenever you embed or insert a note, you can use your own voices. So you can use the note to give an oral instruction speaking, and then at the same point within the video, you can embed or you can insert an open-ended question or a multiple choice question. Okay, so this is very useful because you can use the note and the question you can have them in the same point throughout the video, and therefore it will allow you to give instructions orally, and then once they have listened to your voices, then they can respond to the questions, okay? And then we will click on save, and that's good. Just be careful with the microphones. I think some of you have already opened the microphones. I can hear you. Okay, so we have 3 questions. We have embedded 3 questions, as you can see in here. Whenever you have different questions, the questions will end up being underneath the video, and you will be able to place them in a different place. Okay, so once you have embedded with the different questions, you will be able to move them around. And as I said, you can place a note at the same point throughout the video where you had another question, etc. Okay, so we have 3 types of questions: notes, open-ended questions, and multiple choice questions. Okay. Once we are done, underneath, you can also see the possibility of adding other questions. Okay. When you click on continue, okay, you will be done. Okay. And what we will be doing next, we will be clicking on finish, and it will allow us to assign the content. Okay, so we have seen that we can select the content that we want to work with, we can edit the video, and we can embed different types of questions and trim and cut the video. And then the last step would be to assign that video to the students. How do we assign the video to the students? First of all, bear in mind that whenever you create your own videos or you work with your own videos, they will be public by default. Okay, so this means that any teacher throughout the community of teachers within EdPulzzle will be able to find your video and reuse your video. That means that they will be able to use your video with the questions and assign it to their students and edit it and adapt it, etc. Okay, so if you make the video private, it will only be available for you as a teacher and for the students that you have assigned that video to. Okay, so for that specific group of students that you have assigned that video to and yourselves. Okay, My advice would be to always keep them public in order to be able to share it with other teachers throughout the school or with other colleagues, etc. Okay. Also, whenever you've been working with a video, you will realize that underneath the video, you will have other teachers that have already edited that video and that have embedded questions within those videos. Okay, as you can see in here, you have all those teachers that have already used the same video that I have just edited, and they have embedded questions within those videos. So instead of taking a video, editing it, and embedding questions, what we can also do is just take a video that has already been edited and already has questions within it, and we can go through it and adapt it and edit it once again. So we don't start from scratch, but we start with a video that has already been edited, that already has questions within it. Okay, so that may be another idea for you to save time as teachers. Whenever we are ready to go, we click on Assign. And this will be the last step so that we can work with assigning the video to the classroom. How do we do it? First of all, we have to take a look at on the right-hand side, and you will be able to see that we have the attempts. What are those attempts? Those attempts are for the multiple choice questions. And those attempts allow you to assign a certain number of multiple choice questions, give feedback, and identify what are the correct answers. And then the students will be watching the videos, answering those multiple choice questions. They will be getting the feedback, they will be getting their grades. And once they get to the end of the video, it will tell them, okay, you have another attempt. If they haven't gotten every answer correct, then they will have another attempt. Okay, so if they had 3 multiple choice questions, if one of them wasn't correct, then they would get to the end of the video and it will tell them, you have another attempt, or you have another 2 attempts. Do you want to try again? And it will allow them to try again. So this again will give us the possibility of giving the students the time and the space to try again, to continue learning, to work on, to focus on the progress and to focus on the process instead of focusing on the end result, but giving them a chance to continue learning. So remember that I said, whenever we have a multiple choice question, my advice would be to always provide at least 3 possible answers. Why did I say that? Because obviously, if I want to give them 2 attempts, what happens is that they try once and it doesn't tell them what the correct answer is, and then they try again, okay? And if we had two answers, it would obviously be, if the one is not correct, it will be the other one. Okay, so my advice would be that whenever you have multiple choice questions, always provide 3 possible answers so that the students, then you can give the students at least 2 attempts. Okay, so 3 options for answers, 2 attempts. Okay, so always 1 option more in terms of the answers compared to the number of attempts, okay? Then you have the prevent skipping. Prevent skipping will allow you as teachers to prevent the students from not watching the entire video, okay? So the students start watching the video, they start answering on the questions, and they cannot open a new window, a new tab, they cannot be doing several things at the same time, multitasking. They will have to focus on the video exclusively, watch the video exclusively, watch the entire video, and respond to all the questions, okay? So that will allow you to control that they are only working on that and that they are not multitasking or doing something else. As language teachers as well, something that is interesting is to turn on the captions or subtitles. And whenever the video already has subtitles or captions, you will be able to see them or turn them on, especially if the video comes from YouTube, or if it's your own video that you have recorded with subtitles or captions, you can turn them on, okay? So whenever we have to assign the video to the students, we have to think about the start date. The start date will be always by default the moment when you are editing and creating your own video with the questions. So for example, today I am doing it today, therefore it will be today. Otherwise, if you don't want them to be able to see the videos, you will have to change the start date. The due date is the day whenever the video is due. And you have to bear in mind that if you are working with a learning management system, it could be Classroom, Teams, Moodle, etc. You have to bear in mind that the students will not be able to see their feedback and the grades for multiple choice questions until the due date is over. Okay, so they have to watch the entire video, respond to all the questions, submit their answers, and then the grade will not be available and visible for them until the due date is over. Okay. Whenever you are ready to assign the video to your classroom, you click on Add New Class, and you have several options. One of them will be working with the LMS, the Learning Management System. If you already work with any of those, you would be able to just click on one of those, and then it will directly give you the option of synchronizing the classes that you have created using that LMS. Okay, if I had classes with Microsoft, I would have the list of classes. And if I had a list of Google classes, then I would have the option of synchronizing one of them, two of them, all of them. Okay. If you want to do something different, you can create a new class. Creating a new class is especially useful if you want to go for the open option. The open option will allow you to work with just a link. This means that you have your video, you have your questions, and instead of going through the LMS to assign that video to your students, you will be able to get a link. Okay, so you can either use the generated nicknames by EdPulzzle by default. Okay, so you can go ahead and just say, tell EdPulzzle, okay, just generate the nickname for the students. Or you can, if you are inside the classroom, you can assign, for example, and tell them, okay, we're going to use numbers, or we are going to use animals, colors, initials, like name and last name, things like that. So the open classroom will allow you to not have to use the LMS, so that the students are not identified with their name, last name, and email. But they may be identified with nicknames, okay, that I said could be like nicknames by default, or the nicknames that you have decided to use in the classroom, okay. It will give the students a link. You can share that link with the students will use that link, they will watch the video, answer those questions, and you will get all the data from the teacher's perspective. So you will be able to see who has done it, who has understood everything, who has gotten all the questions correct, incorrect, etc. The difference between the one using the LMS and the open classroom would be the fact that you are not using the student's name, last name, and email, but you are using nicknames. So they don't need to register anywhere. They don't need to identify themselves and so on. Okay, so this is very useful as well if you're all doing like an open session for people to come to the school. Imagine that you have a day whenever you have families coming in, or whenever you have people from outside the school coming in and you want them to try EdPulzzle. You just give them the link, you generate nicknames by default with EdPulzzle, and they will be able to watch the video, answer the questions. You will get all the data of who got them right and wrong, but you won't be able to tell who is who. Okay, so that is very useful in that sense as well. This works with primary students as well, with younger students as well, so that they don't need to identify themselves either. If not, we are going to go with add new class and click on one of the LMSs that we will be working on. And once you've done it, you will be able to see it here. Okay, so you will be able to see that we have the option of assigning that to our students. So I have selected already, for example, this class that I have within Classroom. And as you can see, once I have clicked on the left-hand side, you will be able to post it on Classroom. Okay, posting it on Classroom will entail that within Classroom, they will have an assignment published that they will be able to access and see very easily. Okay. So that is very useful and is very nice from the teacher's perspective. So once you have assigned that video to your students, the students have answered that video, you will be able to see the results. So for example, I have all my classes underneath here. This, in this case, is a Google Classroom class. I have all the assignments that I have assigned to my students within that classroom. I have all the class members, those are all my students, and I have the gradebook, okay? So whenever you have the assignments, if you click on the assignment that you have assigned to a certain group of students, you will be able to see from the entire classroom perspective, okay? So this means that you can see all the students, you can see who has watched the entire video, the grade that they got, how many attempts they have used, when it was the last time that they watched it, when they turned it in. Okay, so this is very useful because you can see from the group perspective how well they have done. If you don't want to do that, but you want to go and see each student, you click on the student and you can see how many minutes they have spent watching the video, how many correct answers, attempts, grade, if they have watched the entire video. And then you will be able to see something very specific, which is how many times they have rewinded a part of the video. So for example, if you see that everybody is stopping here and rewinding this, it might be due to the fact that that content is harder for everybody, or that how that was pronounced or expressed, it was harder to understand for everybody, etc. Okay, so the feedback that you get is pretty amazing because you can really support your students afterwards. You can also give feedback, okay? So you will be able to give feedback in here to your students. So for example, if this was an open-ended question, you will be able to say if it was correct or incorrect. You will be able to give feedback in here. You can say, for example, good job, well done, and then enter that. So for every question and every student, you can give feedback to them. You can also, if you're working with, if you prefer to give feedback instead of written feedback, oral feedback, you can also record yourselves and use a link and embed the link in here, okay? Using a different tool, you can record yourselves, etc. You can see all the students in here, you can grade, you can give amazing feedback to all of them. You can go from one student to the other and grade all the questions for that assignment, etc. Okay. You can also see it from the questions perspective. So sometimes when we write down questions for the students, we don't realize that they may need to be rephrased, sometimes because we have them expressed in a way that they haven't fully understood it. So sometimes it's useful to take a look at the questions perspective, because you will be able to see if there is a question that has to be rephrased or not. Okay. And just to end up today, I wanted to just tell you that there is another option for you to work with EdPulzzle, which is creating your own content or allowing the students to create their own content. So whenever you click on add content on the right-hand side, you can see that you can upload videos from your computer. You can record your own videos, or you can assign student projects. Student projects will allow the students to create their own videos. This is amazing because whenever you have students that have created their own videos, they create their own videos either from YouTube or their own computers or their own recordings. They upload it to EdPulzzle. They embed the questions the same way that you do as a teacher. And once they've done that, they have submitted the videos with the questions. You can give them feedback, you can grade them. And something that is pretty amazing from the teacher's perspective is that you can reuse the content that has been created by the students. So the students will create their own content, submit it to you, you can give them feedback, and then those videos with questions created by the students can be reassigned. So whenever the students submit videos, they are always private. But you as a teacher can use those videos to reassign those videos to everybody else. So this is very useful because you can reuse the content that has been created by the students so that the students can watch somebody else's videos and answer to somebody else's questions. So you can work in groups, you can assign different videos to different groups of students and so on. You can also use the recorder, the Chrome web recorder. We have the EdPulzzle Chrome extension. If you go to the Chrome web store, you can click on EdPulzzle and you will be able to find the EdPulzzle extension. And this will allow you to record your own tab, your own desktop. And within the desktop, you can also use a whiteboard. So it will allow you to use a whiteboard and use that whiteboard to write down things, explain something, and you can record yourselves writing down or explaining or designing, etc. So this is very useful as well. Whenever you work with the Chrome extension, you can record yourselves, you can record your own videos, upload them to EdPulzzle, embed questions, and assign it to your students. So that is basically what I wanted to say today. And I'm going to leave some space for Antigone. I hope I haven't done it for too long. And I do apologize that at the beginning I had a few problems with sharing my screen. So any questions that you may have, I will be happy to answer them. Maria, we don't hear you. I think you have your mic.
Well, Maria, would you like to say anything? Something, actually? Maria, we can't hear you, dear.
So if you have any questions, you can either use the chat or use your mic. I will be happy to answer them.
Maria seems to be having a slide.
Yes, I think so.
Problem?
I'm not sure. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to thank Alicia and remind everybody to be extra careful with their microphones because incoming noises might affect the quality of the recording as well as the concentration of our speakers. Very interesting, Alicia, and over to Antigone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, Alicia, thank you very much for the insightful presentation. As one of the people who have been using EdPulzzle for many years, even now, many of the features, I'm so happy that many of the features have been updated over the years. They have made my life, I don't know about the others, my life very, very easy. So for those who use extensions, make sure you disable them when you don't use them. Otherwise, it will make your Chrome a bit heavy, let's say. And let me just ask somebody from all of you who already use EdPulzzle or are hoping to start using it, feel free to use community. Feel free. It's my best copying others. I will not, I will admit it. However, please, before editing or assigning or anything, copy it so that the original video of whoever did it, I can see Constantina Ioan, or whoever, remains intact. Okay, a funny story is that 2 weeks ago, I opened the video of mine, and guess what? The questions were in Dutch. Well, yes, so you can imagine my kids' surprise when they saw Dutch instead of English. Well, what did we do? We copied it again, and then I had to do it all over again. I'm not sure I did, my questions were exactly the same, but, you know, and I will show you how easy it is. Just do this and do copy. Click copy and work on the copy video. This is all it takes for a video to become yours. So now I would like to show you some of the videos, how I use EdPulzzle in my classroom. There are a number of ways. First of all, as Greek teachers who love grammar, we can't seem to escape this. I have embedded teaching with EdPulzzle. So one of this, I'm not going to click it. I'm just going to click edit so you can take a look of the, as you can see, the video is already cut, like Alisa mentioned earlier. There are questions that are multiple choice. Yeah. We use them.
Bank.
Promote understanding. I use pictures a lot because it is a great way to use EdPulzzle as also as a guessing game and a pre-teaching tool. Of course, it can be used as a post activity as well. So I have a multiple question. I have an open-ended question. Where's the bank? And a multiple choice again. So as you can see, I have listed 3 questions here, and it is a sign in most of my cases. I prefer, so let's move to the end. And I always try to make each video a bit personal, even at a very early stage. So what places and buildings are there in your town? So this will provide the opportunity to the learner to think about their neighborhood, their city, their village, their town, and to tell me which one is his or her favorite. I think that when I started embedding personal questions that direct the learners, it has become more effective. It's not just a video, it's not just another type of homework for them. What is quite interesting about this video, My Town, is that I have turned it into the past. Okay, so it's there is, there are, but also it applied for to get acquainted with the past version of this phenomenon. There was, and many times when I do it with adults, I usually do it hand by hand so they can get a better view of how language works. Now, one of my kids' most favorite videos are about food. Well, we are foodies, and many of these, if not all of these, are based on questions the children created, the learners created. I know that many, there's the option of assigning a project, and I will get to it right after this. But many times the children love to collaborate in the classroom and create questions of their own, having me as their secretary. I don't know why they love giving me orders. I don't know why. Okay, I know why, but I'm not. Who am I to spoil the fun? Okay, so basically the lasagna was our the video that we found that it was turned into Dutch, and the kids, my A1 level students, were kind enough to help me recreate it. They insisted that I had a private, I made it private, Okay, you can understand that it's the kids. Even I, that I insist of creating many questions, would never do something like that. So crammed, but okay. So now it's public, but please make a copy. Please make it. I will make a copy as well.
Loveless line.
Okay, so what is Jamie cooking? Again, and it's great if you do it in the classroom to have the whole class, you know, shout the answer. It's great fun while recording it. I can guarantee that. I
love lasagna, and I want to give you a really solid recipe that will take care of you, your family, your friends, and give you deliciousness every single time. We're going to do a lasagna al forno with a meat ragu, okay?
So what is she going to make his lasagna with? So as you can see, the children become more apt to not only using the language, but also to coming up with multiple choice answers. Everything on this video is an A1 level. The product is the product of A1 level students, and to be honest, I'm very proud of them. Now, again, it can be all about comprehension. It can be about the topic that you are addressing with your curriculum. It could be something out of the ordinary, something that will spark conversation. For instance, the British Museum, what I know we all do this, it's a part of our curriculums, but it was just a student's request. I know nothing about the British Museum. So it was, this was the reason we created it. Again, as I said, there may be more than one copies, because I usually turn these videos, I adapt them according to the level. Castles, grammar, castles, whatever. Now, as far as this video is concerned, it is very special to me because on Friday, my students reminded me of it. And I had no idea that videos and EdPulzzle can make such a strong impact. As we were watching a video of our book, they came across a castle, and they instantly said, "Oh no, I know this castle, I know this castle." And I was sure they had never seen that castle before. And no, miss, we have seen that castle, and we did it on EdPulzzle. And you know what? It was a difficult one that I thought that I would never be able to make it, but then I did it. You know, what was very difficult for them was the fact which is Scottish. Okay, just for a bit.
William Wallace, otherwise known as Braveheart, was a...
Okay, although for us, it's not something difficult, for young learners, it can be a very tall order. However, when I found this video and I wanted them to get to know a bit of William Wallace, I found out that I didn't have to use questions only about William Wallace. So the majority of questions was not on the video itself, but what can you see behind the lady, or things like that, which was quite easy, or use present continuous. So it enabled them, it gave them the opportunity.
In the middle of the room is a huge...
So what can you see in the glass box? Yeah, so Even though the language was not easy for them, the questions were accessible. So use your imagination. This is a 3-year-old video, and still the kids love it and remember it because they managed to complete a task which was, for their skills, a difficult one based on the language level or the accent. But the questions made it easier. And do you know what? They could understand everything after the second hearing. How else do I use EdPulzzle for projects? That is, and during VI project, which was a project created by Eleni Zaiku and me and distributed to many schools, most of the videos, again, were created by the students during the first quarantine. Many of them, all of them were collaborative work, as you can understand, and they were given the students were given instructions. For instance, use passive, or I'd like you to use simple past, but mostly passive because I remember what we were learning at the time. And we were very honored to see that some of our videos are now hosted by EdPulzzle. It has given my learners a lot to be proud of because it is actually their work. Again, as you can see, the Terracotta Army are 2 videos, one with 6 questions and one with 15. The Taj Mahal, again, 13. Okay, I think this was our first video during the quarantine. Okay, so where is the Taj Mahal located? Yes, I think, yes, this is
the Taj Mahal. Its name is Persian for crown of palaces.
Okay, what is a Taj Mahal? So the kids were exposed to a whole new terminology: palaces, gardens, tombs, mosques, mausoleums. It was great fun, and to be honest, I had never seen my learners so eager to let's meet on Saturday for a couple of hours and work. Okay, never. This has never happened before. Holidays and celebrations. There's an excellent, this is from EdPulzzle Originals. I had to do a bit of editing to bring it to the Greek standards and the Greek curriculum, or the Sefer curriculum, to be honest. Shrove Tuesday, 3 or 4 days ago, 5 days ago, if I remember. Okay, we love Christmas. Yes, the majority is Christmas. The skeleton dance, for those who have enjoyed the Dance Macabre project I gave out last year, you will remember it. Okay, and again, it's a lot because it's the kids' work, and I didn't want to spoil the fun. Okay, personally, I don't think that so many questions should be embedded in a video. Okay, it makes it daunting. Okay, I don't see the reason to put so much pressure on the children. So nowadays, my well, yeah, as you can see, 10 ways to have a better conversation. So my original video, this is about C1 and C2 classes. By the way, everything is it's not private, it's public. So feel free to share, feel free to comment, whatever, but always please copy before editing. So as you can see, there are 12 questions here. Again, as I mentioned, it's C1, C2, but the one question and the 3 questions are the same. And I prefer to show you this. So I have a brief note, like as Alisa mentioned at the beginning, and I use notes to give instructions, usually to give instructions or to explain something, and I will come to it right after this. So the talk is entitled 10 Ways of Having a Better Conversation. Before you begin watching it, I'm sure there are a number of issues you hope to see being developed, which will assist you become better holding a conversation. So this way, I hope they have a clear view, not only of what is going, of what they're going to watch, but also to make them wonder, what would they like to see? So, and the next question is what they will be asked to answer at the end of the video. So at the end of the video, you will be asked to give your point of view on the following question. And of course, the question is at the end. It's a long video. Again, I wouldn't advise it for young learners, but they are C2 level students. They can deal with it. And that's why it's only one question, because I needed their responses in a very short period of time, just in 2 days. Again, they have the ability to record their answers or to write them, whatever suits each learner best. The funny thing is that one of them, instead of posting her answer, just started writing gibberish, A, J, 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 something like that. And when she saw it, she panicked and she sent the answer on my messenger. So I just posted it on my, as a comment of mine during her evaluation. So you see, there's a whole host of numbers of ways we can use it. This was a part of us preparing to start writing opinion essays concerning conversation and ways to communicate better. It is a video the learners came up with because I had asked them to Google it and find something interesting to show in the classroom. So even this way, they can get engaged. Now, if I holiday celebrations, holidays. No, it's not here. I'm sorry, but sometimes I forget where or how. Oh, yes. Well, I hope I can find it here. The ferocity, why the sheer ferocity of the defending stunned the world. Okay, you can understand that it was a video prepared for the 28th of October, which is the Greek celebration against the war, the Second World War. It was a declaration. We celebrate the declaration and not the end of the war. In one of
culminated.
No, excuse me. Again, this is a C2 level, so more is
Culminated in the third and.
Okay. Skip.
They were lions pushed into a.
Okay, so again, like we mentioned before,
He'd locked forearms with Hitler and
voice questions are very useful.
In response, Mussolini's
but okay, I know it's here
reinforcements
somewhere.
arrived, and knowing they could not win, the Greeks and
Okay. Keep
reinforcements arrived, and knowing they could not win, the
okay. No, so I cannot find it anymore. Would it be
Greek
nice?
economy turned its legs up and died. Between 7 and 11% of the civilian population.
Edit. Okay, why didn't I think of it later, earlier, not later? I'm using a link. This is what I wanted to show you. Okay. Okay, it's here. On this video, there is, you can find a part of an interview. So here I am embedding the interview of Maria Grafiotu, who's on BBC. So for anyone any of the students who wanted to read it, it was there. So I use it oftentimes to create links with unknown words. I'm using dictionaries, and it does work. It does work. And I think that Alisa mentioned, not I think, I am sure, because I was here, that it can be used as to assign a project. Okay. Usually my learners are not great fans of being assigned projects. However, I have one student and one student only who loves using EdPulzzle. How? We're doing a podcast, and it's every week an episode, and their task is to listen to the episode at home and write down 10 questions, 10 comprehension questions. So I received it earlier in the morning. I couldn't be happier because it is the perfect example. So turned in. Okay, so one project to grade, I will grade it. Okay, so and I can give my feedback. It's all listening. There is no, there's no image on this video, but even this way, students can be engaged. Everything for me, EdPulzzle has been a great tool. Either using it in the classroom with my learners, or individually at home preparing homework, additional homework as a follow-up or as a pre-activity, while activity, follow-up activity, using verbs, using basic questions from Bloom's taxonomy. If I may share something else from my screen, this, I don't know, can you see it? This is a part, yes, okay. These are questions that were handed to us by EdPulzzle many years ago. I don't remember when I was doing EdPulzzle coaching. So again, who, where, which one, what, how many basic questions are essential for, you can start with them, but please also try to think outside the box and create your own activities, or base your own activities on some of the material already prepared by so many wonderful educators all over the world. I'm very glad to see that many Greek teachers are using it as a part, are integrating it into their EFL classrooms. I can't remember how many years I've been using it. To be honest, it's definitely, certainly more than 8. And each year, my appreciation is bigger, is greater, and my learners, whether young learners or adults, have a great respect for it. And it's a great tool because it basically does the evaluation for you. You can share it with parents, although this is not so important to me. The fact that I can see students engaged is what brings me the greatest pleasure. So I had no idea. I think I'm sorry, I have left only 5 minutes for questions. Are there any questions I could answer, either me or Alisa? Is there anything anyone would like to ask? Yes?
I have some, if I may. Okay, thank you. I would like to ask if these videos are, let's say, copy-paste from YouTube, the original ones, and you find them, or you just type the word and you find what you're looking for?
Okay, I only heard the first part. They are originals. You can either go on YouTube. I will showcase it now. Okay, YouTube. And let's say, what would you like to, okay, 4 things all great listeners. Okay. And just click and paste it here. And there you go. And there you go.
Okay. Thank you a lot.
Okay.
May
Does
I
it-
ask? Yes,
Can-
it answers. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure. I would like to ask also about EdPulzzle sample questions based on Bloom's taxonomy.
I can upload it on the chat. I can upload it on the chat.
Okay, thank you. And I would like, by the way, to ask if we need to sign in other accounts so that we can see other people's material, or we just log in?
You don't, I don't have access to other people's accounts.
Okay.
We only have access to our accounts, but if you turn the video public while saving it, then everybody all over the world can have access to your work. Okay? So what do I mean? My content. Okay, let's open a folder. Okay, if you don't see a padlock here, then it's open. So the minute you go on EdPulzzle and click Nikola Tesla, you will find a video by Antigoni Melidonioti. Okay, of course you will find videos by 80 or 180 other educators on that same video. So it's up to you to decide which edition, let's say, to choose. Yeah?
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. And one last question.
Yeah.
I would like about what do you think throughout your teaching process would be the best learning experience about your students, what they may like most about this experience?
Well, first of all, they have become more autonomous. And they have been able to use the language appropriately without having to do what they think are boring are boring tasks. For instance, the podcast here that my student is currently engaged in was a very low-level student facing a lot of learning difficulties, practically not being able to form a sentence, let alone a question, which is more difficult for struggling students. Within a year, she has been able to regain 80% of her independence, let's say. She has become autonomous. She has become confident. She was not confident at all. She's not afraid to make mistakes, not just in speaking, but she's not afraid to be exposed in writing and to putting, to applying it into an application. The fact that they are exposed to authentic language for various topics, for me, is one of the greatest tools. And I try to create 1 or 2 videos on every topic we address at school, based on the books I have been using, or the grammar points, whatever suits you best. And I think it does the work. I also I have never assigned a video with a deadline, because this is not my goal. Okay, they know they have a deadline for a month or so. And again, this gives them the opportunity to arrange their time. So,
Antigone, if I may share the little present for everybody.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes.
If you stop sharing, I will share.
Yes, I will stop sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, where do I stop sharing? Okay, here it is.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. So for everybody, let me just find. All right. All right. All right. So here it is. All right. So thank you everybody for everything. Thank you, Antigone. This is just to end up today's session. We would like to offer you a free trial that will allow you to use the advanced feature from EdPulzzle. So my advice would be to take advantage of this opportunity. You can email us at int@edpuzzle.com, and you can include the following information: your full name, email address, link to your EdPulzzle account, name and address of your school, and you will have access to the trial until the end of the academic year, until the end of June. So take advantage of this opportunity that will allow you to use the Pro features from EdPulzzle, that will allow you to use the EdPulzzle originals, to store more than 20 videos within your accounts, etc. So take advantage of this amazing opportunity, and thank you everybody for today's session. Thank you everybody for having us as well. If you have any other questions, just feel free to ask. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Alisa. Well, I have been trying to upload the PDF I have promised you, but I don't think it's working. It has.
Antigone, do not worry. We can upload it on our blog, on our website with the video, because people have been asking if we will send the recording as we usually do. This is not a Tesol Macedonia-Thrace members only event. So we are not going to send a specific link. We are going to publicize the video. So it's going to be uploaded probably on our YouTube channel so that it can be then uploaded on our website. This is going to take a couple of hours, so probably from tomorrow onwards, but we will create a special entry.
Well, thank you. And of course, feel free to contact me or anyone from EdPulzzle whenever you wish. I don't know, a big thank you to Celia Alvarez, Olga Grodinevich, and Alisa Linarejos, excuse me, for providing me with the honor and opportunity to be a part of the EdPulzzle community. I hope to see all of you really soon in a Tesol Macedonia-Thrace event.
The certain thing is that we are going to see a lot of each other next weekend at the Tesol Greece conference. Yes. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Celia. Thank you, Antigone. And thank you to all of you for coming on this Sunday morning. Thank you, EdPulzzle, for this beautiful gift. We will sure take the opportunity.
Yes, the gift is invaluable. Trust me.
Invaluable, truly. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day, everybody, and a beautiful Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.